What up, donkeys? JackAce here with JackAce.com, and I have another roulette system for you. This one is called Fibonacci Dozens, or Golden Entry. It was originally reviewed by the CEG Dealer School, and they gave this system the Golden A. And I'll tell you what I gave this system at the end of this video. This is a very, very large system. You buy in for $4,000, although it can be scaled up or down to as low as $40. It is a negative progression system, and you start with a starting bet of $100. So we're going to bet $100 on the second dozen. We're starting with a starting balance of $2.23 million. 20, that's a win. We win $200. Whatever you bet, if you hit, you're going to win twice of what you bet. As its name implies, you use the Fibonacci sequence to determine the size of the next bet. If you're not familiar with the Fibonacci sequence, it goes 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21. Basically, you take the last two numbers, you add them to get the next number. Back to square one, $100. $15, that's another second dozen win. $200, we're up $400. We are starting with a starting bet of $100, but you can bet $1 on a $1 minimum ETG if you can find something like that. Or $5, or $10, or $20. 36, that's a loss, that's the third dozen. So after you lose the first time, you still bet $100. You're going to bet one and then one unit. 1 unit on that second tier. 30, that's another loss of 100, but now we increase our bet. We go 1, 1, 200. So now $200 on the second dozen. With a $1 starting unit, you can start with a $40 bankroll. With a $5 starting unit, you can start with a $200 bankroll. With a $10 starting unit, you can start with a $400 bankroll. And with a $25 starting unit, you can start with a $1,000 bankroll. 11, we just missed the second dozen. That's a $200 loss, and we go to 300. The author of the system says you should walk when you're up $1,000 or 25% of your bankroll. $29, that's a loss. Minus 300, and we go to 500 because 2 plus 3 is 5. You're just betting on 12 numbers here. That means there are 25 whacks on a single zero wheel and 26 whacks on a double zero wheel. 23, that's a hit, so we win $1,000, and we are currently up 700. And we reset to tier 1, which is $100.
No more bets.
14, that's a quick $200 win. On a single zero wheel, you're covering 12 numbers. That's 32.4% coverage. On a double zero wheel, you have 31.6% coverage. 36, that's the third dozen. That's a loss.
No more bets.
Back to $100, but this is the second tier. And that's a loss. So 2 losses of $100 in a row. We go to 200. One thing about Fibonacci, it's a naturally occurring sequence that you'll find in nature. You can see Fibonacci in action in pine cones, in conch shells, in tree branches, in the golden ratio. It's what you can use to estimate your conversion of miles to kilometers. So 3 miles is about 5 kilometers. 8 miles is about 13 kilometers. That comes in handy if you've ever visited any other countries beside the US where they don't use miles. 31, that's third dozen, and that's a loss, $200. So we go 1 plus 2 is 3, so we go to 300. If you want to check out another YouTube video about the Fibonacci sequence, check out this old school video from Vi Hart. It's back from the early 2000s, but it's a classic. 15, that's a hit. So we win 600. We are now up $1,100. What do I like about this system? I think it's better than Martingale because you're not increasing your bets at such a high rate. You're not doubling every time you increase your bets. What I don't like about this system is that you're not covering as much of the wheel as you would with an even money bet. An even money bet is what you would typically be betting in Martingale. So it's a lot easier to go on a really bad streak with this system. 6, that's a $100 loss.
No more bets.
8, that's another $100 loss. And now we go to 200.
No more bets.
19, that's a hit. So we win 400. And now we're up $1,300. If you want to submit your own roulette system for me to review, go to this Google Sheets
No
link.
more bets.
That link will tell you everything you need to do to submit your system, and hopefully I'll have time to review it for you. 27, that's a loss. That's our first loss, and we go to 100 again.
No more bets.
7, that's the first dozen, so that's our second loss at 100, and we go to $200. The expected loss per spin for this system is $2.70 for the first tier on a single zero wheel, and $5.26 per spin on a double zero wheel.
No
of course,
more
that's
bets.
just for the first tier. You would multiply that by whatever multiple as you progress through the system. 17, that's a win, so we recover, we win $400, and now we're up $1,500. Reset to tier 1, $100. Let's go.
No more bets.
8, that's a loss, $100 down. And we stay at this level for one more spin.
No more bets.
23, that's a $200 win. And back to tier 1. Since we're only making one bet, there's really not an alternate betting pattern for this system. You can move
No
the
more
bet
bets.
around to different dozens or to the different columns, but whatever it is, you're just gonna be betting on 12 numbers. 20, another $200 win. Back to square one.
No more bets.
36, that's a third dozen, so it's a $100 loss. And we stay at this level for one more spin.
No more bets.
13, that's a $200 win, and we go back to tier 1, which is the same betting amount, $100. And here's a table of all the bets you're going to make in the Fibonacci sequence, and when you win, how much you're going to be ahead. You're actually up more than 1 unit as you would be in a Martingale sequence. When you win in Martingale, you are always up 1 unit from when you started the sequence. That's not true with Fibonacci. With Fibonacci, with the doubling, when you're betting the dozens, which pay 2 to 1, you actually end up ahead more than 1 unit most of the time. There's only one case where you actually end up just 1 unit, and that's when you bet on that second level. So we're going to bet $100.
No more bets.
30, that's third dozen, so $100 loss. And we bet $100 again.
No more bets.
31, another $100 loss, and we increase to 200.
No more bets.
27, just outside of our range, that's another loss. And we increase to 1 plus 2 equals 3, so we bet 300.
No more bets.
9, that's first dozen, so that's a loss. And we increase to 2 plus 3 is 5, so we bet 500. If you enjoy systems such as this, you should go to my website, JackAce.com. There I have a catalog of over 350 roulette systems, each with my rating of each system, CEG's rating of the system. It has spin-by-spin results. You can also look at my tool, the Roulette Bet Analyzer. There you enter your roulette bets. It'll show you how much you're going to win for each result, what your expected loss is, what your expected comp value per spin is, and your percent coverage of the wheel. 23, that's a hit. So we win 1,000, and now we are up $2,200. Let's reset to that first tier.
No more bets.
29, that's a loss. And we repeat the $100 bet.
No more bets.
11, just a bit outside. and we increased to $200. So we talked a little bit about the recovery for this system. Whenever you win, it's always going to be a one spin recovery. You're always going to end up ahead from when you started the sequence. So that's something that's very good about this system. And you're able to do that without doubling your bet like you would with Martingale. So that gives you a lot more bullets than we'd normally have with Martingale. 8, another miss. So now we increase to 300. 1 plus 2 is 3, so we bet 300.
No more bets.
35, that's too high. $300 loss, and we go to 500.
No more bets.
14, that's a bingo. We win 1,000. And we're up 2,500 now. If you want to talk about roulette systems, if you want to talk about any gambling systems, you should join my Discord server. We have a pretty active community talking about roulette, blackjack, even poker, baccarat, everything at the casino that you might play. Drop back down to square one, $100. 3, that's too low. Stay at this level for one more spin.
No more bets.
26, that's too high. And we increase to $200.
No more bets.
16, that's a hit. We win $400. We're currently up $2,700. Pretty good so far. And we'll just do this a couple more times and then we'll call it a day.
No more bets.
29, that's a loss. Minus 100. Continue at this level for one more spin.
No more bets.
11, that's a miss. So now we increase to 200.
No more bets.
20, that's a bingo. We win 400. We're currently up $2,900. And we'll just try one more progression and we'll see how that goes.
No more bets.
18, that's a hit. So we win $200 and we'll call it a day right there. We are currently up $3,100, but let's take a look at this in the JackAce simulator. So here we are in the JackAce simulator. We are simulating Fibonacci dozens, aka golden entry. And we're trying to increase our bankroll from $4,000 to $5,000, that's 25%, to $6,000, that's 50%, and to $8,000, that's 100%, or doubling our bankroll. Trying to get to $5,000, we were successful 71.4% of the time on single zero, 68.7% of the time on double zero, and 67.3% of the time on triple zero. Trying to increase our bankroll to $6,000, we were successful 55.5% of the time on single zero, 52% of the time on double zero, and 50.2% of the time on triple zero. And when we tried to double our bankroll, we were successful 37.0% of the time on single zero, 34.9% of the time on double zero, and 31.4% on triple zero. So as you can see, there's not a huge drop-off going from single zero to triple zero in these attempts. That is because we are either succeeding or failing in a very short amount of spins. So that's how Fibonacci dozens, aka golden entry, performed in the simulator. What do you think about it so far? I really do like this system. Even though it's a negative progression system, I would give this system a B plus, maybe leaning towards an A. Not quite an A yet though. I don't like the negative progression aspect of the system. I always think that's a killer. I actually think it did much better than I thought it would in the simulator though. And because of that, I'm gonna give this a B plus. If you enjoyed this content, remember to like and subscribe. Always gamble responsibly, never play triple zero roulette, and peace out, donkeys.